Is Ian Lewision getting paid to roll over, or is this a genuine fight? That's what we're talking about in today's show. The much anticipated debut of Joe Joyce against Ian Lewision. So if you're new to this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you do, jump down to the comment section. Let me know that you've subscribed, and let's start the debate on this fight. So as I say, it's the much anticipated debut of former Olympian Joe Joyce, who competed in the Olympics in the super heavyweight division. He got the silver medal, and many people feel that he got somewhat robbed in that final. For me, I think possibly he deserved to edge it, but overall I was never that impressed with Joe Joyce. I felt there was a lot of holes in what he had to offer, and to be fair, I feel that when he does attack himself, he is wide open for a massive counter, and it wouldn't surprise me if he does get knocked out within his professional career because of that defensive issue. Okay. But anyway, he signed up with David Haye. Everyone knows about David Haye, the Hayemaker promotions. For me, it was a bit of a surprise because everyone knows that David Haye hasn't had much success as a promoter apart from promoting himself, the self-promotion of David Haye and the Haye brand. Okay, he's had issues with other people under his own stable over the years, and people have come and gone and whatnot. So it's interesting that he announced this whole new journey in conjunction with another promoter, and he signed up 5 or 6 new faces, including former MMA fighter. So it is an interesting new journey for David Haye. And as I say, being a British super heavyweight, it was a surprise that he didn't decide to sign for one of the more traditional promoters who would have pushed him in a certain direction. Now, when the announcement was made, there was a variety of interesting videos that David Haye was pushing out on social media, where he was bigging up his new signing in Joe Joyce and effectively saying that he felt that Joe Joyce was so far advanced in his career that they weren't going to mess about with the traditional journey of most boxers when they hit the professional scene, where they run through a variety of young or inexperienced or over the hill or just traditional good old journeyman. Okay, they were going to push him up to a level that they thought was appropriate, and David Haye was kind of basically saying that he thought he was already 2 to 3 years into a professional career, the equivalent of. I think it's a dangerous thing to assume. I think it is, because as I say, he hasn't fought in the professional game, although he has had some interesting background. We know that he has competed as an amateur in the Olympics, the World Championships, European Games, Commonwealth, and he's got a variety of different medals. He's got gold in European and Commonwealth, the silver in the Olympics. So he has competed at an okay level on the amateur scene. He's also fought in the World Series of Boxing, which included a defeat against Alexander Usyk, which is quite interesting. An interesting fight. He lost fairly convincingly against the smaller man, but we know Usyk is a top performer who could end up fighting in the heavyweight division himself. So he has a little bit of background, but is he at that level where he should be fighting against an experienced professional? Now, this is where it does get interesting for me, and it is where the fight will be won and lost. And it's where we talk about Ian Lewision. Now, I've covered Ian Lewision on this channel multiple times over the last couple of years because I find him such an interesting boxer. Now, let's just check out his record, right? Ian Lewision turned professional in 2009. Okay, 2009. We're now in 2017. So it's about 8 or 9 year career, and in that 8 or 9 years, he has only competed 16 times. 16 times. That is so incredibly poor. As a professional, you should be hitting 16 fights somewhere halfway into your third year. If he's into his 8th or 9th year and he's only got 16 fights, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong with what's gone on with Ian Lewison's career, whether it is his own commitment and dedication, or whether he just didn't put himself in the shot window in order to get those fights. Now, last year, we saw the re-emergence of Ian Lewison, and he had pretty much his most active year of his career, where he fought 3 times, which included fighting for the vacant WBO Asia Pacific heavyweight title out in China. Very, very odd situation where he sparked out someone in a couple of rounds. He then came back and got a decent fight against Dillian Whyte. But the problem with Ian Lewison is in both of those fights where he came back, he was so out of shape. He was carrying so much extra weight. You could see that there wasn't really that dedication. In his earlier fights, he was fighting down at about 245, which you could see was his prime weight. He's only about 6 foot, so he's not a big guy in the land of the giants of the heavyweight division these days. So about 245 was probably his optimal weight. Fighting up at close to 280, you could see he was carrying that timber. Wasn't doing him any favours. So what I have to ask is this a genuine fight? Is Ian Lewison being brought in because he has a little bit of a record? He's been a pro for a long time, and in his earlier days he was known for knocking people out. And we kind of saw that even in the Dillian Whyte fight last year, that he did have a little bit to offer, and you could see that he was trying for a knockout. It didn't come, despite the fact that Dillian Whyte was almost inviting those sort of shots. It didn't come, that the punch didn't come. So you have to ask yourself, is Ian Lewison being brought in with no intention of winning this fight? Okay, is it merely a case of who he is, what he has done in the past, but he is being paid not to be a competitive opponent? We know these sort of things happen in boxing. People are provided as a testing ground journeyman, and you know that they have no chance of winning. They know that they're probably they're gonna lose money if they win. They're not going to get other opportunities, etc., etc. And is this the case with Ian Lewison? That's what I have to ask yourself, because it's a strange fight to make. I mean, they're pushing Joe Joyce as if he is already an experienced professional. I almost got the impression that David Haye was thinking that within a year, Joe Joyce could be fighting for top honours. I find it unlikely, but despite saying that, because of the problems I have with this matchup, I would expect Joe Joyce to win this fairly comfortably. If he can fight at range using his significant height and athleticism, he should walk away from this fight relatively unscathed. If I was training him, I would say don't even try and engage or get close. Use your size, your reach, and you should be able to keep Ian Lewison at bay, even if it is a competitive fight. And added to that, I would not expect Ian Lewison to last more than about 5 rounds if Joe Joyce boxed clever and at range. And I think that's probably what we'll see. And he'll either stop him. I think that Joe Joyce will probably get the stoppage in the 6th to 7th round. So that's what I think. I kind of brought up a few topics here saying about what I think about this specific fight. I think it's a typical David Haye BS sort of situation. We're not going to learn anything from this fight about what Joe Joyce has to offer. We're not going to learn about the holes that he's got. And I don't think Joe Joyce is going to learn much himself competing in this sort of fight. But that is my opinion. And if you agree with it, if you don't agree with it, jump down to the comment section below and let me know what you think about this fight and who you think's going to win, whether you think it's a real legit fight, and where you think that Joe Joyce is going to go in the future. So we'll see you in the next video. See you later.